I think that's good. It says I'm live, and I'm waiting to see if you guys say hello. I'm going to text good morning here, and Goog, good morning. And I can see the chat. The only problem I see is a delay on the video, which kind of bothers me a little bit. But good morning, everybody. I am here, and I am trying to do a show live where I do not have Annie. So those of you who are out there, pray for Annie. She is not doing well today. She's really in a lot of pain, having inability to even make it to upper steps to get to the bathtub, and she wanted to get in a soak. And so let's put some really good, positive, healing thoughts and prayers to help her out a little bit today. Good morning, Diana, Diane, and Marcia. I thank you for tuning in. For those of you who don't know me, I'm Dr. Doc Misak. I'm a naturopathic doctor. I'm a pharmacist, and this is a little bit of a different look for me today. I'm at my buddy Larry's house, and we were just been hanging out. I've been really working a lot this week to finish a book. And so if I had Annie on the other end right now, I'd put her on the spot and say, how quick are you going to be doing some editing? So Annie is kind of like my format editor, everything. She's the only one who's read the book. And she could tell how I would take breaks and write my book, and could tell when it was not edited versus being edited, because sometimes you just get in a writing mode and you just start typing like a madman, and at least I do personally, because the thoughts just start flowing, and then I go back and I try to reread it and fix it, but as you go back, I had to edit the end of the book, and I read through the whole book again, and it's ready. I think I'm done. We're putting together how we're going to disperse what information is in there as far as application is concerned, and I'm really excited about this. And I know Annie was as well. So, Marcia, good morning. Praying for Annie. Thank you. Marty D, good morning, Doc. God bless you too. We are praying for Annie. I hope Annie's on live. I'll watch for a text message to see if she actually is going to be reaching out and texting me and say she's able to at least watch the show. I always like to start with the Bible app, and today it found Proverbs. You got to watch Proverbs. It always cuts to the heart, doesn't it? And it says Proverbs 6:16 to 19. There are 6 things the Lord hates, 7 that are detestable to him: haughty eyes, a lying tongue, hands that shed innocent blood, heart that devises wicked schemes, feet that are quick to rush into evil, a false witness who pours out lies, and a person who stirs up conflict in the community. Shall we talk presidential debates? I'll stay off that today. But I mean, God just cuts to the chase with His word, and just calls to us. And for me, just staying focused in life, and being able to um, just keep on track with getting through the sense of desperation and sadness at times, or getting through whatever it may be. And so I had Larry, and at some point we're going to get Larry to join in. There's no way he's going to do it right now. He's sitting across from me, giving me eyes like, no way. But we're going to get Larry to jump in at some point and talk about his experience. It was really funny this morning. He asked his little Alexa, who probably just lit up, after I did that. And, can you define alternative medicine? And the first thing it talks about is that it's a type of medicine that lacks biological science and authenticity, basically, is what it was saying. It's like, really, the whole basis of everything that we do is based upon biological and even quantum science. that is true, in my opinion, based on mathematics. I mean, what more pure science is there than understanding the science of the body? Um, I just threw me. I told the stupid thing that its definition is full of bull, but it's off of Wikipedia. So Wikipedia has good things to say and thoughts in regards to what we're doing here. But good morning, Marty. Carolyn, good morning. I hope you're doing well. Let's see, face to face. Good morning from Western Australia. Hey, hey. Let me think. 14 hours ahead. It is. You're at 2 o'clock in the morning. Oh my God! Thank you for tuning in. I hope it's a. I'm sure it's a little warmer. Yesterday was beautiful here. It was 83 degrees, but he's going to think Celsius, so I don't know what that would be in Celsius. And today, and then it rained last night, and it's cool. And after this show, if it's not raining, I'm heading out for a walk. We're going to go for a hike and go walk along a river and look at. Well, I know where there's a waterfall, and just go check out some beautiful stuff. So it's 10 p.m. here for me. I thought it was 14 hours ahead. So that's midnight. It's 10 a.m. here. So I thought it would be midnight. Okay. Well, thanks for joining. So today is a little different because, I haven't, number one, I didn't have a great plan today for what to talk about because I'm just throwing something together since I've been, since I'm away from home. But Annie would tell you that's no different than what we do any other week. She'll be, 30 minutes before the show. What are we talking about, Doc? And, but one of the things I notice when I'm with Larry is every time I come down, he's always telling me, you just gave me another pearl of information, just something that I, hadn't thought about or haven't, uh, considered before. And just these little pearls come out that just give, uh, insight into, some basics of life and helping to, get through, all that he's been gone through. Larry can tell an amazing story. It'll bring you near tears. The crap that he's gone through in life, and he's a great guy. And then when we put him on the internet, I'm gonna create it as a dating service. Um, and he's over there. He didn't like that comment, but it's just one of these people who has gone through some really, really tough health challenges. And we're talking seriously life-threatening health challenges, people. And he, through persistence and through changing a whole mental, I don't know if you want to call it a mental dialogue or a mental processing, but Dr. Kerry Reams taught that he would go and teach medical doctors or teach somebody. He's like, you have to erase everything that you've already been taught. You have to assume that anything that isn't proven mathematically is just a fad, and so he would turn around and say, if I can prove it mathematically and show you in the numbers that this is positive or, a positive effect, then okay, let's take that to be true. And we were taught this cellular concept of homeostasis, which is still a real live concept, and every single one of you, may have learned that in the basis of your science education, that a cell is as healthy as it can be, or to adapt to the given environment to be as healthy as it can be. So every single person out there, you are as healthy as you possibly can be right now, based upon your body's ability to handle the stress of the environment that you are in, and what it has to work with to be healthy. It's just the natural tendency of biological systems to try to self-correct, and but again, I get mad at that stupid thing this morning, giving a definition of alternative health that's found on Wikipedia, that there's no biological basis for what we're talking about. and which is ridiculous because the whole basis of everything that I'm sitting here telling you, and that you will hear me talk about, goes to the natural tendencies of what the body's going to do in a given environment. How is the body going to respond? It's cause and effect. That's what I teach. Analysis to define cause and effect. Okay, and so if you understand that you create this and this is a response from it, then you have a basis of, okay, how can I affect this so that or what can I do to manipulate or support or have a some type of influence on this cause aspect to get a new desired effect. And the desired effect is a natural restoration, restorative healing. So let's see. Good morning from New Australia, Holly. Wow, you guys are hearing about me. You guys, I'll tell you what. If you guys can put together in Australia some lecture spots and put together groups and people would take some type of offering or something like that to help me fund such a trip, I'm game. Can you imagine? I'd be game to go into Australia and hanging out with you guys a couple weeks and doing lectures while I'm there and teaching and bringing to the table whatever I can teach. I'd be really up for that. Leah, good morning. Prophet Barry, good morning in Michigan. Nice and sunny. Yeah, we've got a little bit of overcast down here in West Virginia, but it's good enough to go for a hike. I don't care if it's going to be a little muddy from last night. I got boots. So looking forward to that. So one of the things, when we talk about pearls of information, one of the other aspects is practicality. How can we turn around and make, you know, this lifestyle that I'm talking about practical in some context. So those of you who have not followed me, or those of you, it looks like most of the names I've seen before, and many of you are here because of Ream's biological theory of ionization, RBTI, is because you've learned that, oh my God, here's this incredible genius who defined the human body mathematically in terms of energy efficiency and um, gave us an equation or measurable variables that can help us to determine our personal energy efficiency and know what can be done to affect that in a positive or negative way. Instead of saying what can be done, I should say a way to measure what you are doing, whether it is having a positive or negative effect in what you are trying to accomplish in regards to your health. So no system of medicine defines perfect the same. Specifically, no system of medicine can define perfect as ideal energy efficiency to maximize potential, except Ream's biological theory of ionization, which he mathematically tested for over 40 years and found it to be true. And the reports and the stories are just amazing, and they continue today. And when I get Larry to actually get on this show, you will hear another one of those stories. That's just the whole beauty of this. And the thing is Larry, with retraining his mind, he's like, Daryl, you'll be so proud of me. And he makes his own ginger concoction of ginger extract for inflammation and adding things that he's blending up and drinks this stuff every day, and it does have a positive effect. And he is doing smoothies, and he's utilizing cabbage as a daily incorporator of his diet because of the glutamine components in helping with some of the symptoms that he's had for fast cell turnover. But we test it, and we just look and see if his numbers are moving towards ideal, because he's had a really tough time with getting his bricks under control. And I'm like, Larry, test every single time you pee, figure it out. And he said, well, unfortunately, it's wheat and tomato. Yeah, I mean, so how many people like pizza? Any hands being raised up? How many people like, sandwiches with a tomato on them? Oh no, my internet just crashed, Larry. And let me see what's going on here, people, and see why I'm crashing. And yeah, it just totally locked up. If anybody can give me information of whether you can still hear me, I see that. Oh, there it came back on. There we go. And so, okay, let me see here. Yeah, disconnected. Please wait. Profit Bear 5x5. Oh no, now it stopped. All good. Okay. All right. So we're coming and going. I don't know where it's going on. I'm on the. Did you turn something new on the internet, Larry? Okay. Well, anyway, people, it shows that I'm up, but I see that my video is going down. And so if you guys can see me, and you're saying 5x5, and I'm just going to keep going. Because it's showing me a little differently. So, if I can get one more 5x5 and know, then I'll keep going. So what I was saying was that, Dr. Ream says you need to unlearn what you've learned and think in the context of energy, not think in the context of cellular health. Because cellular health, thank you everybody for letting me know it's up. Cellular health is real, and that's the whole basis of functional medicine. We do these tests to look biochemically, except according to Wikipedia, because we have no biological support for what alternative medicine is doing, you know. But we turn around and Dr. Reams explained it from an energy perspective, that if you maximize energy potential, you are essentially giving the body what it needs to do on that homeostatic level to repair and restore itself. And what's happening electromagnetically is things are arranging to where energy is moving where it needs to be or not where it needs to be. And it is dispersing and eliminating. It's just a beautiful cycle when you're looking at that equation of energy in and energy out, and you monitor that the bricks and the pHs and the conductivity to know that you're moving into an ideal energy efficiency of building energy. And then you monitor those salts again, the cell debris and those nitrates, to see that you're processing and eliminating waste, and you see a detoxification response. And when you see the front end of that equation, the bricks and the pHs honing in into that A range, 1.5 to 2 bricks, 6.3 to 6.6 pHs, you will see that those nitrates, the cell debris, and the salt, instead of being maybe a 1 to 5 ratio, might go up to 1 to 6, 1 to 8 ratio, and the nitrates go up, and maintain themselves about 10 to 12 over about 5 to 7, and hitting up near 18 to 20. And your cell debris will go 4 plus, 4 plus even on and off for an extended period of time. That's when that front end of that equation is showing a high energy formation. So the back end of the equation is doing what? You're cleaning up shop. You're detoxing. Naturally, it just happens, And so when you go and you look at the things that I've taught you, and I don't know where my little bar is. I do know it's in. I don't want to start messing with things here. But I'm gonna mess with things anyway. Give me a second, because I can't think and mess with things and talk at the same time. That's me. That's not Annie doing this stuff. So, hey, wow, I can even see the show live, and I got the whatchamacallit. It says, hello, Daryl, I can see you. Larry Calamine just logged in. I think Larry's where I am. But when you're sitting here looking, I am going to try and see if you guys see what I see, but I'm going to pull up some of the bases here of the pictures that we're talking about. So number one is, let's see if this pulls up, the restorative range model. Okay, if you're looking at this whole basis from an energy perspective, we're looking at your body's load. What can your body handle energetically? And you can see on the left side, you see a blue line going across. It says threshold. And on the total left side, where it says total load and stressors, you're looking at mental, emotional, physical, spiritual, and I even added microbial in there. Why? Because if you look at all the eclectic aspect of teachers, even Royal Rife, using electrical machines to kill specifically microbial loads that are imbalanced when the pHs of the body get imbalanced. It's interesting that Royal Rife said that a person with a healthy pH is a person that's going to maintain a healthy life, because pH is your inner terrain. It's telling you of what's going on the speed of things happening. And when the pH goes out, microbes are opportunistic. Hey, this is a great scenario for me to live. High alkaline pHs, let's get some parasite activity going. Or low pHs, let's have some fungal and or viral issues. You can have viral issues across the spectrum. And so we turn around and you get your total load, and when you exceed what your body can handle, you're consuming more energy than you are getting from your food. You start to get symptoms. And then it comes and you hit that big black line of symptoms that says 5-phase health mentality. The 5 phases that we talk about is cleaning up your environment: pure air, pure food, pure water, electromagnetic field protection. Testing yourself, specifically identifying what are your foods that you need to avoid. If you don't have somebody who can do electrodermal testing or some type of functional testing for food sensitivities, then number one, start with the blood type diet as far as what to eliminate, and use it as an elimination for 4 weeks. But test your bricks, test your pHs every time you pee, specifically 1.5 to 2 hours after eating, and watch the patterns. You will see a pattern arise and go away from the ideal when you are eating foods that you should not consume. Number 3 is support. Support is, what does the body need? Not like, I've got adrenal issues, so I'm going to take all these adaptogens. I've got a thyroid issue, so I'm going to take a glandular or tyrosine, phenylalanine, and things to push the a little bit of copper, things to push the pathways. Or I'm sad and I'm taking 5-HTP. It's an aspect of, what does my body functionally need, and Reams explained it on a basic vitamin and mineral component. So you clean up that that environment. You test and remove things that you're specifically supposed to avoid in your life through food and chemical sensitivity avoidance. You start giving the body support. Now you're creating more energy than you're using. And what does that little spigot on that black line say? Detox. Your body naturally falls into phase 4, detoxification. And then phase 5 is mental awareness. And as you start to detox, what we're doing is we're building reserve energy. You can see that coming up. You can see that blue line threshold stepping up. Why? Because now you have the functional support that your body needs to tolerate a higher load upon it. And then you see your symptoms drop below that optimal threshold. But because symptoms still present themselves, is the basic of step 5, or phase 5, is self-awareness. You're like, hey, if something happens, what's going on with me that I need to review so I can address this and get rid of it? So when we turn around, I love how Andy put this together. So when I turn around and you have this 5-phase mentality, people, where you're trying to change your environment, you're lowering the load on your body, you're giving your body what it needs, you're naturally starting to detox. But when you get the scenario like I was just talking about, where the front end of your equation, your sugars and pHs, and your really start to hone in, and your conductivity hones into that 1-to-5 ratio, you're going to see the back end of that equation go up. You're going to see the sugar to salt ratio raise. You'll actually see your saliva pH go up a little bit and start showing a little bit of liver congestion. So instead of being 6.3, 6.4, you're going to see that liver, that saliva pH goes 6.5, 6.6, 6.7. And then I start thinking like, okay, am I going to have to flush your liver? Are you having some gallbladder symptoms? Yeah, fatty foods are really bothering me lately. I hear those symptoms. And you can look at those numbers and know it, and you can predict it, and you can turn around and say, hey, it's time we flush your liver out a little bit, and so we're just trying to get that perspective. But that phase 4 detoxification, when it naturally starts to happen in your numbers, push it, baby. put them in the sauna. Get regular sauna sessions. Do ionic foot baths. Do colon hydrotherapy, particularly if the both of the pHs start creeping up on the higher end of that A range, 6.5, 6.6, and you got to keep that elimination going and just push right through that. And so it's really it's one of those pearls. I'm just trying to connect it all together so you can see what's going on. And as those imbalances, where your pHs were really low versus really high, and the microbial loads that can affect in there, you many times need to start helping once you're getting the pH to hone in to that A range. If you have identified parasites, viruses, mold, these crappy things, Lyme disease or whatever's in your body, as you're honing in on your efficiency, that's when you can start, okay, I am going to create a war zone in my body that the remnants of those things that are testing positive by polymerase chain reactions and different type of testing that is done to identify the presence, ELISA testing, which looks at immune globulins and stuff that says, yeah, this stuff is there. I've got chronic Epstein-Barr where my IgG levels show that it's there, meaning I've had reactivity, but my IgM levels are down, so it's not active. It's probably still in you. There's a concept of stealth infections. And when you go into that natural process of restoration, go after those bugs. Use the Rife machines. Use the multi-wave oscillator. Use the static generators. Use the anti-parasitic herbs. Use the colloidal silver. But you got to always be creating the balance with probiotics and things as well. You got to look at the numbers as far as when do I do this stuff? Because you can turn around and go to alternative health practitioners that will identify specifically that you have, whether it be parasites or heavy metal toxicity or whatever, and they want to go and just, let's deal with that issue. That's your problem. That's what's running your immune system down. That's what you have going on. And they want to challenge you in some capacity to address that, your causative issue. If you get your numbers into the restoration range, your body is already addressing that issue because electromagnetically, those heavy metals don't resonate with your frequency. So they start showing up in your hair. Wow, that's why I do hair analysis every 9 to 12 months. And you can see when the body goes into a dump. How long do you think it takes for a hair analysis to get normal? If you go with a hair analysis company, they want you to test your hair every, 4 to 6 weeks, and then reevaluate what supplements you're supposed to take. It has some it'll help you. No doubt it'll help you, because I have found that the minerals that the hair analysis is telling people or suggesting to take correlates with what I already have them on based upon RBTI. Every single time. So I stopped looking at them because I was looking at them every 6 to 12 weeks, every 1.5 to 3 months. And I kept noticing patterns. Okay, after the first one, people go into a dump. And then you see this wasting and this imbalance on the primary nutrients on the hair and other nutrients being low that are being utilized in detox reactions. And then in 3 to 6 months, then you see the next one that the heavy metals start popping up in the hair, and the zinc and copper ratio starts showing imbalances, and the selenium levels come down, and I just like wait a minute, this is just correlating with the RBTI of where they were at that time, and with about a month before, because the processes that you're supporting with RBTI are just showing up in the people who understand how to understand looking at hair by the work of Dr. Paul Eck, ECK. Look him up. And it's just fascinating to watch this stuff. So it looks like we have a question. Does grounding with bare feet on the ground, EMF blockers, or hologram harmony disc to change EMF signal on cell phones, computers, etc., help with conductivity, pH, etc.? Well, what you're doing is you're enabling the body to discharge abnormal electricity, and you're lowering the total load on the body. So you will see an effect, but it's very subtle. You'll more feel it then you will see the numbers go in a specific tendency towards direction. If you don't have a grounding mat on your bed, I do recommend them. Grounding has been shown. I think Dr. Sinatra, the one who highly talks about grounding, he turns around and he um, you know, has shown the benefits of grounding affecting cardiovascular health and cholesterol profiles and all types of different things with the body. And so, does it have an effect? Yes. Is it something like, oh my God, look at my numbers? It depends on your level of electromagnetic chaos in your body, because I know there are some people out there who are highly, highly susceptible, and just EMF, the electromagnetic fields just totally screw with you, and that's a really crappy place to be, because that's showing that your electrochemical nature, how energy is moving through your body, really is sensitive and in a state of disruption. Usually those people have high conductivity. And the salts, there's like a static electricity in you that just all the time, And so I'm nervous. What am I going to do? What am I going to do now? How am I going to do it? I got to think of what I'm going to do. Oh, wow. Oh, what was that? Just that sense of unease inside the body, and unable to quiet yourself, your mind even, or whatever. There's and grounding can really help with that. It really can help to pull that in. When that liver gets congested, how do you clear it, Doc? Liver flush. It's a liver gallbladder flush. It's a protocol that we give out to people who, when they come to retreats, or my clients, basically you're drinking some apple juice or some tart cherry juice and adding some phosphorus to it to have a tendency towards phosphoric and malic acids to soften and break stones down for a week, for 1 week prep, just so, because you don't want to be passing out stones the size of your thumb, that can be painful. And even with preps, I've had people pass out stones near the size of their thumb and know that they were coming out, because you have a 1 to 3 millimeter, bile duct. And if you want to pass a stone that is over an inch, how does that go through this hole? It goes through that hole by smooth muscle relaxing, because the muscle around those bile ducts that drop into the gastrointestinal tract are smooth muscle. Well, what relaxes them? Magnesium. So at the end of a week of softening your stones, you have a really, you don't take all your supplements that day. You stop eating by 2. Make sure you have no fat in your diet that day, and then you start drinking Epsom salts. They're disgusting, people. I mean, I'm not going to run away from saying that they're not disgusting. We add some trace mineral packets to it, just for more of a variety of a mineral blend, but also add a little bit of flavoring. Has a little bit of stevia in it, and a natural flavoring, just to try to get that stuff to taste a little bit better. And the magnesium, what does magnesium do? Relaxes smooth muscle. Magnesium has you eliminate nitrates, and so that you, as you're going through a process of detoxification that night, and causing your liver to pump out a bunch of crap, that magnesium load just helps it to eliminate. And what is it going to do? What do Epsom salts do? They're cathartic. You are going to seriously be on the toilet having some watery stuff come out of your butt, because you're relaxing everything. And then you drink some oil with the juice of a lemon, anionic blast. And what does an anionic surfactants like soap do? It disperses. It helps to break the oil down into small globules versus, the clumping aspect that's sitting in your stomach. So you do the juice of a lemon and a juice of a grapefruit, and you shoot down this cup of oil, and you go to bed. And you sit there, and you can put your hands over your liver, right under your right breast, on the rib cage. And when you're laying there, you literally will feel your liver and gallbladder moving and doing stuff in there, especially a ball of oil in your gut. You'd be like, oh, feel that stuff moving. But what happens is, if you're not waking up in the middle of the night or the next morning, you drink more of that Epsom salts. Why? So you relax and you purge everything that the liver moved down into the digest through those bile, um, those um, bile ducts down into the digestive tract. You now clean out the digestive tract, and cholesterol stones and gallstones are fat. They're globs. They're fatty, so they float. And so when you go to the bathroom, you look at the floaters, and you be like, "Oh my God, I just passed thousands of these things." And if you do it again. But I always wait about 4 to 6 weeks between gallbladder flush because they're pretty intensive. And some people have done gallbladder flushes and it be life changing, where you can't get that saliva number to come down. Their liver's so congested, they're always headachy, they're always feeling bloated and like they're not digesting food. Their bile is just too weak to do what they need to do. And you got to get that liver flushed because it's had years and years of crap that it hasn't been able to deal with. And you can store stones not only in the gallbladder, but you can store stones in the liver itself. So I've had people um, have spots on their liver, and then they do gallbladder flushes, and then we go back, the next year, and the spots on the liver are gone. So spots on the liver, if you see some type of white stone on an X-ray or CT scan, the more white it is, the more calcium it is. So it's suggesting that there's something of more density that's in there. And all of a sudden, they disappear. How? Wow, did I actually dilate and purge something out of the liver? According to traditional science, they say that that's bull. Yet I have literally had people pass stones from doing a gallbladder flush, take it to their doctor, show it to them, and they're like, "Oh my God, those are gallstones." And then when they tell them what they did, they're like, "Oh no, that's just congealed fat from what you did." And that's just the olive oil congealing and doing that. And you're passing out this huge solid mass that your body had some way of converting olive oil from the time you drank it that night to the middle of the night or the morning into some solid green mass. Really? Prove it to me. Test it. Find deoxycholic acids in there. So anyway, you guys who got me on that? Marcia. You got me on a tangent there. Okay, let's see. Where do we find a good grounding mat? Earthing, EARTHING, earthing.com. Basically, I've had people make them, and you get a cord and you connect it to something on a metal with a wire, and you plug it into the ground of your 3-hole plug. Make sure you go into the bottom one, and so basically they just take the bottom of a plug and have a little thing. You're sticking that into the ground. You're running it to this mat, and then it's right underneath your sheets. They make them that I have one at my computer desk at my office. They're pretty interesting. Sinatra talks about it. Just look up earthing. I'm not a wholesaler, distributor of them right now, so it's not going to help. Um, I'm not going to make any money off of that, but it's something good that you can definitely incorporate because your body's electric and it has to discharge. And how many of us wear rubber-soled shoes? Does rubber, is it an insulator? So how many of you are never really discharging? Hey, I take my shoes off, I slip my rubber-soled slippers on. I take them off, I lay in bed, I get up, I put my slippers right back on. And there's never really this exchange of grounding to the earth, because if you go back and some of the books that we were encouraged to read during, let me turn this off, some of the things that we were encouraged to read during naturopathic medical school with the history of natural doctors, some of these old doctors talked about getting up and walking on barefoot in the grass in the morning to stimulate the circulation, to get the lymphatics flowing. But think about it, it's just grounding. You're grounding and you're connecting and you're discharging the static electricity out of your body and letting it go back to the earth. So Larry in the back room there says, drink the flush through a straw. Yeah, he's talking about drinking that olive oil through a straw. You definitely want to. The flavoring packets help a bunch. I found the Epsom salts to not be that bad tasting. Then you have more tolerable taste buds than I do, Jackie. What are the floaters? Do stones float? Yes. What's floating are the stones. If they're clear and amber colored, they're usually cholesterol stones. If they're green, they're usually bile stones. And so I've had people pass hundreds of stones during cleanses, and when they do, they'll come in like, Doc, I'm down to just over 150. I don't count them all. I just kind of ballpark them. And I'm like, great, do it again, 4 to 6 weeks. And, when you feel ready, and we got to get that down below 20 or below 30. You really, it took me a long time to have no stones in my gallbladder flushes, a long time. This process of, learning natural medicine, and nobody's been more of the human experiment than on myself. If I'm telling you to drink clay, guess what I was drinking or have been drinking? If I'm telling you to do colon cleansing kits and binding up and removing crap out of your digestive tract that's been there, guess who's done it for 19 years? you know I do these goop cleanses and colon cleansing cleanses on sometimes 3 to 4 times a year. This year I did one really early. Had so much crap going on, and I just did it a few weeks ago. Oh my God, it was harder than other times I've done fasting, because I hadn't done it for a while. But oh, did it bring me back into a better place physically, just to help me to handle some of the emotional crap that I've been dealing with this year. It's just been unbearable losing a father and a son with such a short period of time. Don't make me cry. So let me see. Morning from Kentucky. Good morning, Kathy. Justly, good morning, Doc. Joined late, praying for Annie. Thank you. Annie, I assume, is not even able to get on the show because she would normally at least do the live chat and jump in. But yeah, that girl needs some prayers. She's, her back is, the things that she's gone through. And I don't know if you guys have ever gone back and watched the video where she showed the hardware, that's inside of her to stabilize her back when she was a kid, that got broken, and they stabilized it again. And then they put some rods that connected part of her vertebrae that now allows for lack of movement in certain areas that's caused just chronic debilitating pain. And she's been going through some serious issues with her hips. Well, her hips are all fused together, lately, that she just, the only thing that really truly helps her is Wim Hof and icing. And so Annie's got a creek by her house, and she will literally go in the bed of winter and go sit in that ice cold creek. And she's like, Doc, once you get past it, it's amazing, because it's the one thing that my body goes into a mode and all the pain just goes away. Well, hell, are you freezing? No, she actually finds it. So she finds that doing ice baths, and Wim Hof breathing has just been, incredible for adjusting her autonomic, nerve and pain response. And it's been a relief for her on a mental level. And today she can't even get up to the bathroom to do it. And so just pray for the girl. It hurts me to hear her and see that. Carolyn, you are amazing. One learns so much from your tangents. How about a liver flush from me? Okay, Carolyn, what is your saliva pH? If your saliva pH is hovering is above 6.6, then yeah, you probably should do and it's consistently above a 6.6. Definitely, if it's above 6.8, a liver flush would be good. I'm hoping you are watching your numbers, and because sometimes those of you who watch a show and, oh, I've got a saliva pH of 6.8, I'm going to do a liver flush, and you're doing nothing else RBTI or related to anything that I talked about, have fun with that. You're going to feel like crap. And the whole thing is everybody has this fear that they will get a stone stuck, that they will have something happen to where, it turns out and turns into, a medical emergency. Well, I can tell you that I've heard that for years. I've never seen a case report that somebody tried a gallbladder flush and had a medical emergency, particularly people who have used Epsom salts and magnesium. But I have had some people have some very discomforting experiences, particularly if they aren't doing anything else than, saying, hey, my liver's all congested, and I can show you by measurement and all my symptoms. So, but you will, after you finish that, when you drink the Epsom salts the following morning, that day after the flush usually wipes people out. Expect to be tired. And I've had that fatigue with people who were really congested livers last for a 3 to 4 day period because their body just like, oh my God, look what I just dumped. And it can be taxing on them to recoup. And you can look at their numbers and see that their nitrates drop and they just need rest to get back through it. And so, yeah, it's interesting just to watch these processes. And like I said, I do these things. I do these cleanses. I do gallbladder flushes. I do parasite cleanses. I don't get on the Rife machine as often as I should, but the multi-wave oscillator, I'll eat my lunch there because you just feel energized from doing these things. I can't deny these things that make me, feel rejuvenated. And the best for me is getting into nature, getting outside, the ability to connect. There's a book based upon the work in Japan called Foresting. Go walk in the forest. And they talk about mental stress, cholesterol levels, heart stress, all of these amazing health benefits from just walking in nature. I can tell you it's real just from personal experience and how I feel getting out there. But, you can sit there and say, oh, I don't like the woods. Connect. Annie is grounding in the creek. Hell yeah, she is. Can you tell me how to help someone with lymph flow issues and nodules under the skin that feel like a sac? Yeah, a violet ray, electrical therapies, a high frequency electrical device to stimulate lymphatic blood flow and in lymphatic and blood flow. Created by Tesla, and you can still buy them, relatively affordable. But a violet ray is kind of a really unique tool. Otherwise, bouncing on trampolines, mini trampolines are just incredible. You decelerate and then you accelerate off of the trampoline. So you come to a stop and then you spring off of it. That motion, that deceleration and acceleration puts up to 3.5 times gravitational force on every cell of your body. Bounce, 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 bounce. And so what does that do? It stops and starts, and that degree of stress is an external influence. It's an environmental change. And what's your body and homeostasis say that your body's going to do? It's going to adapt. It's going to increase metabolic activity to compensate for that 3.5 G's of stress. So what does that do? Moves blood, moves lymph. So I've had people have chronic prostatitis, and guys start bouncing on trampolines, and their PSA goes down. I've had people with chronic constipation, and they start bouncing on trampolines, and their bowels start moving. I've had, trampolines are amazing. If you're an athlete, that cellular exercise will increase the efficiency of everything you're doing. I can relate to Annie. I have Harrington rod. My battery is running low. Hey, Larry, can you help me out? So I might need to jump up and get my battery thing and charge and move a little bit. In that leather bag right there is my my charging cord for my computer. Let's see. I can relate to Annie. I have a Harrington rod with partially fused spine. Right hip pain is off the charts. Might try the creek idea. Praying for you. Yeah, look up, Marcia. Just look up Wim Hof. No, it's a power cord. Let's see. Q plus 2020 can ground at the beach. Heck yeah. Stand or sit on the sand in the water in a creek or spring. Rheumatoid says it does help. Last about 2 months after doing 6 hours straight for her. That's incredible. Grounding is amazing for people. Yes, I just need to plug in, and thank you for helping me with this. I am running on fumes. My battery is up. Do you have an extension cord? Or do I need to move? Can it reach there? Thank you. Oh, good. You get to unplug Alexa. Okay. And so um, Larry's powering me back up before I die on the scene here, guys. Let's see. Carolyn, no saliva pH 6.3 to 6.6. Urine still acid 5 to 5.7. I've been very busy and not always able to check my numbers. Maybe after an election I can get back on track. So if you're running, 6.6 with a low typical, because your urine pH is your metabolic pH. It's like your frequency of what's going on. You have got to slow that down. Go back and look at the DE foods, right, and eat them consistently as your staples. I don't know if you got my new handout because you were at an earlier retreat where I correlated and taken all of the prominent calciums and I've made them into. I broke them down into these are the DC or the DE foods, these are the BC foods. So they're all on the list that I did give you. They're just not organized to where you can just look at BC and boom, you have all your foods listed. You have to go and pick them out and figure out which ones have the right calciums in them. But eat those DE foods and look for when you're seeing acidic, if your Brix is not spiking, then, it's a calcium deficiency. Increase your vitamin D, go up 10, 15, 20,000 units a day even. And look at your calcium sources. If you're using just Mincol, or you tried Cal 2, maybe try Cal citrate or try hydroxyapatite, or try coral calcium, or try even a Tums. They make a natural Tums by, I think, a product company called Geneva or something like that. Genexa, Genexa. It's like a natural Tums, which is calcium carbonate, rapidly absorbed, but very alkalizing, and bringing that pH back up. And so you might be able to get one of those Genexas and eat one of them once or twice a day, and looking at your pattern, if you're checking your urine all the time and seeing if there's times a day where it drops down, that says, hey, I should take my that calcium source at this time of day because I have this pattern every day where it droops. So I need something of that form. And as you experiment with those calciums, the ones that raise the pH, which I gave you in your binder at the retreat, you could turn around and, observe and identify what works for you, particularly foods. I had a gentleman who literally found that dried beans, and if he soaked and had a half a cup of dried beans every day, his pH would come back up and maintain. So the guy listened to my shows, turned around, and just started. He bought testing equipment. 4 months later, he did a consult with me after he had already lost weight, after his gout was taken care of, after his arthritic complaints had drastically reduced, after just change after change after change after change, because he watched his patterns and figured out how to move his numbers just by watching my shows. And he turned around and like, all of these things are so much better. People think I'm crazy, but they look at me at how much weight I've lost and everything that's going on. And all we did was help him to hone in and fine tune the regimen that he was doing, and got him on track. And so you got to learn your patterns and when or what foods specifically move those numbers more than anything. So that's kind of the basis of where we try to stay. So again, somebody mentioned to make sure you hit that blue thumbs up. We always want you to do that. If you could share, please share. I don't know what else to do to get people to be able to have this positive effect, to change what's going on in this world, unless we get the word out. And for some reason, we, have noticed, Andy's like, why can we not break 40 people on this show when we used to have hundreds? And we think that it's something in the logarithms of YouTube that is keeping this from going live, because, if you're sharing it, thank you. We do not know why we can't get these numbers to come up, whether the link doesn't work or whether, I don't know. I wish I knew. I wish somebody turned around and said, hey, I'm trying to use your link on Saturday mornings, or it's not even there, or when I click on it, it says it's live, but it won't go live, or I don't know. All I know is that it blows my mind of the feedback that I get through my office and through here and wherever about these shows. Yet we are not seeing these numbers, change the way that they are. And there's been people who have sent videos that say, check this out. And this is a way that they're controlling these numbers and censoring you. And sure enough, you look at these uh, ways of monitoring and that can affect it that we have no control over, that suggests that, yeah, it's a censorship. Because you go to these Wikipedia about alternative medicine, there's no biological reasoning for what I'm talking about. Yeah. Anyway, I'm gonna look and see if there's any more questions, because I think we've done a fairly decent. I hope there's been a couple pearls, going through. This is one of those times where I just got on and I'm chatting with you and really relying upon your chat in order to keep the show going today. Otherwise, I'm just rambling. I thank you for prayers, people. It's in, I hope to, have some news relatively soon about the release of a book, and getting things together. Annie has done just an incredible job, and she is now going to, organize the book. Subtitles and giving you ideas so you'll be able to flip through it and see, like, oh, here's what he's talking about gallbladder flush, or here's where he's talking about this, and because otherwise, if the book, I didn't put it in an application perspective that says step 1, step 2, step 3, blah blah blah, but all those steps are in there, and discussing of how, to some degree I do that, but not not an application to where, start here, put your name here and your weight here, and then you do this to determine this. That's not in this book. This book is to explain to you why we do this, and to explain to you that the potential for perfect is in every one of you. And now all I'm trying to do is show you how to move towards that perfect, because trying to be perfect more than I ever want to do. I know that I can't. That's the grace of God. It gets me through the day of where I am, and the fact that we've already, had Christ die for us means that it's happened, people. You are free. Just take it, accept it, believe it, run with it, and, because judgment has already occurred with the resurrection of Christ. You are free. Just take it, and make the most of this world where you can. And where I want to do is equip you. I want you to have a tool that gives you an understanding, because you can only make decisions on life from every moment based upon your level of understanding and that desire that you have for yourself to be better in some capacity. And every one of you do it. We all do. Whenever you're in a conversation and you're already thinking through your mind what you're going to say, is because you want to elicit a positive response from that person. You want to be engaged. You want a positive response in your life. You want your positive health. All I'm trying to do is give you a way of looking at it, so that level of understanding helps you to make the right choices for you, because it's the one thing we all have, is choice. And I don't want you brainwashed the way I was brainwashed to think that there's no biological science or basis for alternative medicine. It's right there on Wikipedia. It's got to be true. Thank you for tuning in, people. I'm really, can't wait for the book. Thank you. Thanks for prayers. I'm glad that you find them as pearls, and I hope that you could share this, and I hope that if there's something specific that you guys want me to talk about, ever, bring it, email it to my office or something, and they give those emails, they'll put them before me, and we'll go from there. And I thank you all for tuning in. I hope that I don't sit here looking like a weird guy trying to figure out how to turn this off, but I'm going to stop the streaming. Until next week, just take care. God bless you all. Enjoy your day.